Hey guys, Joshua Dardoch here, and I'm joining Immortals as the assistant LCS coach. I'd say I'm most excited to kind of approach the team atmosphere at an LCS level from the coaching standpoint, just kind of being that figure behind all the 5 players and kind of losing that stress and I guess just the stress of competition in general. Not to say I won't be competing in some facet as a coach, but I'm not as directly tied to the competition as I was when I was a player. So I don't foresee the same levels of, I don't see my competitiveness coming out as frequently as it did when I was a player, for example. And I don't foresee me, having much struggles in terms of being able to focus and give my 100% every day. I do think that I have an extensive amount of knowledge on an individual level about the game, so I do think I can help all 5 players grow individually in their role, and that's just going to be my goal.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time for our last 2 games of the day here on the LCS. I am Captain Flowers, this is Raz, and we will be your guides through these last couple of bouts. And honestly, my friend, the first 3 have not been what people were expecting here today.
Yeah. This is one of the fun games, going through each game for the rest of the day and being like, okay, which one's the underdog?
Yeah.
Throw everything in the channel points all in that direction. Yeah, that's how you make them back.
Absolutely. But now we've already got a little bit of shuffling going on here in our 4th game of the day. Contracts is in place of Svenskeren here on the side of Evil Geniuses. So hopefully we're going to see some big moves coming out of him.
Yeah, hearing from Svenskeren when he was in the interview just a few weeks ago with, I think it was Dash, talking about the fact that it was, a 6-man roster. When you hear that, you're like, oh, what are the rumblings behind the scenes, right? But then, of course, like, when is that going to come into fruition if we're going to see contracts again? Spoiler, right now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see the fact that last time he ended up getting an MVP in his debut with Evil Geniuses says a lot to his level of skill and the way that he was doing it. Not only was the team really around him playing incredibly well. I thought they were incredibly disciplined in how they were playing as a unit, but he showcased great mechanics on that Diana, so I think it's a great move.
And meanwhile, across the aisle, we've got Dardoch coming in as the strategic coach here for Immortals. We just saw the shot from Immortals talking about that, letting us know, hey, he expects to be able to succeed in this role. He wants to be able to be that guiding hand behind the scenes to help everybody out and get this team on track to look better and better as we're in the back half of summer.
And I know I'm generally like a positive person around this. I think this is great because anybody that's watched his stream when he was doing in-houses, right? Around the time when Core JJ was doing the in-houses, he was actually doing them in the morning slot as well. And like in general, like talking about the game on a high level and then like being able to rally people around has always been what he's been strong at. That was what Dignitas was great in the spring split as well.
Yeah.
So as long as it comes down to them, like just him working with Gyotto, getting his team on the same page when they're already on an upward trajectory, I like the idea.
Yeah, it's something, I've actually had this conversation with Zyrene a few different times before because he studied psychology stuff and he's talked to me about players who are consciously competent versus unconsciously competent, right? The unconsciously competent player can kick your ass at League of Legends, but he doesn't know why. The consciously competent player is the one who understands everything about the game, understands all these inner workings and machinations, and can explain that and distill it to others in a way that makes it easy to learn. So if Dardoch has that top-level conscious competence, that could be a huge boon here for this team.
I really do feel like that's the case. You can see him on the stage right now with Gyotto, so I think that's really nice for him to kind of take that route in his career. And I want to see if he likes it, if he enjoys it, right? If that's the case, then I think that he can do a lot of good in this direction. We've been seeing actually a lot of players move into a coaching position. Golden Glue is one. Matt, another one who's actually the coach for Evil Geniuses' academy team, right? So I think that's a really good move for a lot of players in the next step, and also great for the players that are currently playing so they can look to, those who've done it in the past.
Exactly. It builds up it has a baseline amount of respect with players to coach to begin with, knowing that the coach has walked the walk, knowing that he's been in your shoes and understands what that's like. But enough talking about it. Let's get into it. We got the draft kicking off here as Immortals ban out Thresh and Akali. Xin Zhao be the first ban here from Evil Genius.
Okay, Xin Zhao, I know Xerxes has done a lot of damage on that pick, and IMT is a very scrappy team. Ziggs is a great ban. Just got to see SKT actually roll with it as a first pick when they were going up against Gen G just last night. For a lot of people that didn't see, they ended up getting a 2-0, and a lot of it was on Gumayushi's Ziggs. Just a great pick overall. It's great flex between mid and AD carry, and I think that IMT, they hear that, Insanity's like, pick me that pick. He's a great Ziggs player, so a good ban from Evil Geniuses.
Okay, so with that Ziggs band away, the third one of this first half will be Lucian for the side of Immortals. Evil Geniuses have one more band to go. Still a lot of powerful stuff. We've been talking a bit about the jungler, specifically for Evil Geniuses, but also talking about how Immortals now have Dardoch in that coaching position.
Yeah.
And Diana is one of those big picks that has gone through this first half here with Gwen being the final ban from EG.
I expect it to be a first pick. If Evil Geniuses are going to be expending a ban on towards the Xin Zhao, then I'm thinking that they would want to go towards an AP option that is actually quite bad in a 1v1 versus it, right? So that's what my expectation is. So it is going to be them going for that Diana first pick. They're hovering it, just kind of getting a good idea, using their 10 seconds to maybe even discuss what their second pick in combination with the Diana is going to be.
Yeah.
Just gives them more time overall.
Yeah, and the first pick for Immortals is Viego. We know how flexible he is. We know how powerful he is, so we're going to need to see more of the draft to figure out exactly what the strategy there with him will be. Diana locked in. Thinking about the next one now. Let's see what sort of a composition Evil Geniuses want to fashion here. We really always love to see Jizuke on big playmakers. We like to see him on active champions that have the ability to function on their own outside of depending on teammates to protect them.
Yeah. But I think that he should hold his mid lane pick going into 4-5. Even with how good Lucian is, it was banned. So if you're just getting blind picks that are strong in and of itself, like Lucian, like Akali being banned, then I think that hold it. You have red side advantage. There's no need to go in that direction. And you did talk about Viego as a first pick, right?
Yeah.
Even though it is a great flex pick, I'm assuming that Xerxes is going to be the one that's picking it up with the huge nerf that it got, at least in terms of the laning phase nerf, the sustained nerf from 100% to 50% for the minions.
Is a lot in the world of League of Legends.
Yes.
When you look at a lot of League of Legends nerfs, right, if an ability loses 10 damage or whatever, if the base damage is 250, that's not half. Half is a pretty extreme nerf on almost anything. So he really got toned down in that department there a little bit. Lulu and Tristana locked in here for the side of Immortals. Also, conveniently, both flex picks.
There it is. And at least it's saying one thing, that IMT wants to be a front-to-back composition. Great range on the Tristana as she levels up. And they're responding with Danny Samira.
Okay, Danny on the Samira. You have 3 champions on Evil Geniuses now that are all diving in and creating chaos together.
Yes.
Whoever is piloting this Lulu on Immortals must be ready to hit the ambulance button on anybody because, man, this is scary.
Wee woo, wee woo. Help. The moment Nocturne shuts out the lights, that's when you call 911.
Yup. There's been a murder.
It's wild, yes. And specifically Danny picking this one up in amateur before he joined the LCS team, he was straight stomping 2v2s with the Samira. Now, that was when it was released and was a bit overpowered, but even when it was dialed down and not a lot of people are going in that direction, he still favored the champion. So I love the fact that he's going back towards it. If you were to ask Emily what she was looking for every time it was an Evil Geniuses game, I want to see the Samira.
What is the Samira? Okay. Well, Evil Geniuses, they're banning out some engage options in the support role here for their opponents, expecting that Lulu to be in the solo lane. Alistar and Nautilus both banned out.
Yeah.
Immortals, however, they're looking for some of those Jizuke-style champions to ban away. Ryze already banned out. We'll see if they want to target another one towards the mid lane.
We should see a Leona ban from IMT because it is such a high-value pick for Evil Geniuses. And especially since you're banning out Nautilus and Alistar, you can say that both teams are theoretically looking for a support pick if the Lulu's going to a solo lane. There we go. So that's a Leona ban coming in from IMT. It is too safe of a pick for Evil Geniuses.
Nicely done there, predicting that one, my friend. Leona banned away. So what is the option instead here for the side of EG? You want to see something else that can dive in. You want to see something else that'll synergize with these 3.
I know they're hovering the Rakan. Rel is something that is also an option because if you have the Samira, Nocturne, and Diana, that is just a great combination of really Rel stuns that you can throw in there. So I love the fact that they landed on the Rel. I was a little concerned. If it was the Rakan, it would just have a much weaker laning.
Well, we've got the Rel in there now, so that means this squad all has a very clear identity so far in this draft from what I'm looking at. Over on Immortals, let's see how they want to finish out.
This is the weakness of blue side. With the clear identities here, IMT just needs to showcase their full comp. And that means, there he goes, Xayah Rakan. Some range would be wonderful here for Evil Geniuses. I know that Azir is an option. It's never been a pick that that Jizuke has been too fond with. But in general, if you look at this composition, I think some poke would be nice, and some just consistent DPS. Because Samira is great for all-in engages, but consistent DPS is something that I would like to see.
Okay, how about Nico?
Okay.
Is that something that you're feeling? Nope, never mind. We aren't going to get that. It's Lee Sin instead. I don't even know why I talked about the hover. Can't be baited. Can't be baited.
More playmaking, though.
Yeah.
And that's just been what Evil Geniuses has wanted with this specific draft and what Jizuke's played multiple times already this split. So Evil Geniuses, turn the lights off. Diana's jumping in. Samira's like, there's so many people on this team composition that can start the fight. So Xayah has a lot cut out for her. Even with the ultimate, even with the flash, she has to be concerned.
Even with the Lulu.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We never got to actually talk about where the flex picks ended up shaking out. So with the last two picks being Xayah, Rakan, neither of those champions flex anywhere.
Yep.
I mean, maybe if you're playing solo queue, you see a mid lane Rakan sometime at 3 o'clock in the morning when the guy's just obviously on a loss streak or whatever, that happens. But here, those two champions are going bottom. So it will be a Tristana versus Lee Sin mid lane matchup, with top lane being Lulu versus Nocturne, and then Viego and Diana in the jungle.
Yeah, so I'm expecting IMT to be playing a little bit more towards the top side. Xayah Rakan is still very safe of a duo. If you ever try and dive them, you're going to face the consequences, especially once they hit 6. So I'm expecting IMT's bot lane to be locked tight. But Viego now has a nice little servant in the top lane named Revenge.
Oh,
go towards
baby.
the Lulu and your
Pocket
2v2s. Exactly. The Pocket Lulu. So remember out there to tweet at Revenge. You know, we need more servant gameplay. I'm sure he's loving it.
Well, that's the next question that I want to ask you as we're about to load into the game.
Yeah.
Where do you want to see these junglers prioritize their attention and their resources early on in this game from both sides?
I'm expecting the Viego to play more towards like just path bot to top. That would be my understanding. Playing towards your top laner, usually the mindset is to play and get them an advantage. But in the few cases, I would say last year's Damwon, where you're doing it to get your jungler. In that case, it was Canyon. In this case, it's Xerxes, an advantage in the 2v2, in invades. You should be working with the Tristana and Lulu as much as humanly possible. So that's my expectation for IMT, where for Evil Geniuses, bot lane, mostly bot lane. You have double TP with the Rel. I'm expecting early Dragon focus.
Okay. Well, we'll check back in on that and see how everything pans out here after a couple minutes of gameplay. Right now, everyone just drawing those lines of scrimmage here. You can see Raze and Destiny hanging out in their own jungle. Danny's just on point here in the river, making sure that nobody's trying to do any sort of wraparound type of invade. But with no one grouped up from either side, it's not looking like we're going to get a late invade either. Usually, if that happens, you'll see bot lane and jungle grouped up together in a brush waiting for that 1 minute and 26-second mark or something. But not this time around, so nobody's getting spicy here early on. Junglers are starting off on opposite sides of the rift, and as I say that, it's the perfect time to let y'all know the free ProView matchup for this game is here in the jungle. That's right, Xerxes versus Contracts on two very popular, very powerful champions right now. So if you're lost in the jungle, you're trying to figure out how in the hell to get some elo, tune in, figure it out, watch these guys. They ought to be the ones that know what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun matchup between both players, not only because just naturally Contract and Xerxes have been high performers for their team. Contract only had that one game, but he still popped off in that one. Has been working really well in Academy and in the Proving Ground circuit, especially in the previous split. So it's exciting to see those two junglers go up against each other, and also exciting matchups.
Yeah. Diana and Viego are both two of those champions that when they pop off, they just make an absolute highlight clip of the game. So lots of potential there. Back here in the mid lane, Tristana versus Lee Sin. Of course, Lee Sin will be able to do pretty well just safeguarding himself, still being able to farm up, use the E to push, and maintain some presence here in the lane. And then both of them having wonderful abilities to yeet the other one. I mean, I'm looking forward to some playmaking once we hit those level 6 points.
And you know Jizuke is going to go all in.
Oh, yeah. There's Jizuke Lee Sin is my mind's not telling me no, even though yours might think it should.
It's only telling me
Yeah,
yes.
his mind only goes one way, and it's straight for PvP action. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table here in this one, as Xerxes has opted for the full clear, as has Contracts, and they're both right about the same point now, clearing out their respective red buffs. Looks like Xerxes just a little bit further ahead on tempo.
Yeah, and it seems like the change that, you know, I was wondering if Viego is going to be pathing towards the top side of the map to try and see if he can get anything, especially with the trade working out so well for Revenge. He's actually just looking to protect Destiny and Raze a little bit more, who've been pushing up. And remember, this 2v2 from Evil Geniuses is incredibly scrappy. If they are able to find a good engage when you're near their turret, if Contracts was pathing in that direction, would have been difficult, but here he is in the top lane.
Okay, remember, Diana has no CC pre-6, so Flash coming out for the Fear Tether from Impact. They go in, but honestly, just not enough, and Impact is real hurt now after this. Revenge has no Flash to try to follow there for the kill, had to use it to get away, but that gank seemingly just helped Revenge more.
Yeah, it sucked. He was way too close to his own turret. No Flash on Impact. At least he's going to... I was wondering if Revenge was going to just base and then TP back to lane. He's very cognizant of Contract still being on this side of the map. The wave is still bad for him, so he needs to play his cards right here.
Okay, it looks like Revenge is just going to call it a day. Even though the wave is frozen right now, that's not what you like to see. He knows that enemy jungler is still hanging around. He does not want to give away first blood for free. So that means that he'll go ahead, get on back, teleport back to lane. Impact, having already used his own teleport, means that his will be up first. Now let's see if Contracts can find success here coming back into the lane now.
It is generally so difficult, especially without Flash, to get a gank on towards a Lulu.
Yeah. And especially when you have Nocturne, Diana, who have no easily applicable CC. Nocturne, you have to have them in the tether for X amount of seconds. Diana just doesn't have crowd control.
Yeah.
So
here it is. They don't see Xerxes.
Okay.
Wait, do they see him?
This could be... No.
No, they don't!
No, he's hidden in the alcove. He's alcove gaming. Contracts jumps in. Xerxes coming around from the side. Doesn't look like a whole lot's going to happen here either way. The only one he could try to stun with the Spectral Maw would be Nocturne, but he's already got a spell shield.
Now Impact's in a pretty bad position. He wants to get this wave fully shoved in. Revenge should be able to hold this wave. And, you know, the fear of a Nocturne trying to freeze is pretty non-existent because of Nocturne passive.
Yeah.
And how he naturally trades with his Q. So, good luck, Impact. It's Xerxes' time now.
Have fun.
Top.
Xerxes still hanging around. Okay, here comes the mist. Impact will use his own Dustbringer. He uses the spell shield early. Remember that Impact has no flash, and first blood goes over to the Lulu.
Feels bad when it's Contracts that's up there for some time, gets nothing out of it. But then Revenge on the wave coming back, Xerxes comes in, perfectly baits out the spell shield and is able to nail the kill down. Really well done from both Revenge and Xerxes to get the first blood.
Yeah, I felt like that was just such a long time coming up there in top lane. You saw so much jungler involvement from both sides, so much posturing, but this is the play that finally works.
He chills out because he knows the Impact's just going to be in a tough spot here. No TP too, so he needs to get this wave fixed. It needs to be Diana that's coming in just to like fully shove out the wave for him. He knows that. But the moment he sees Xerxes, it's just a game about waiting for when he's going to be spell shielding. Q's first to bait it out, and then, yeah, at that point, easy pickings here.
Nothing to it but to do it. Immortals happy with how things are shaking out so far. Remember that first blood plus assist is worth about 600 gold.
Yeah.
And hey, they're up a little bit more than that. So on top of the first blood they've already got, you can see that they have a CS advantage here in the top lane that will find itself removed pretty quickly once Impact farms up this wave that's colliding with his turret. But you would think Revenge could make him miss a couple of those. Insanity jumps in on Jizuke here. And you just know, Jizuke's very aware, hey, he's not alone. Tristana's not jumping on top of Lee Sin like that with nobody nearby.
Absolutely. And that's when you're checking down bot lane and asking, when's the last time you saw the support?
Okay, Danny's going in after Raze. Samira's very scary in these isolated situations. Jizuke, he tries to flash forward to land the Sonic Wave, but he doesn't have the aim, and Raze gets away.
Just checking to see if he can execute him on that one. At the end of the day, it's still double summoners from Raze off of what was really damn good from Danny.
Do you think that was worth for Jizuke to try that, though? Because I understand the attempt, but now Danny's in a bad spot down here in the bottom lane 1v2. Won't actually die, but Jizuke spent teleport and flash to walk back to mid. That seems like a pretty hefty cost.
It is, especially for Flash, knowing that Dragon Fight is possible, and it's how you want to start fights. So from that aspect, it was a little bit too much. Just if you wanted to be able to come in and join, use your TP.
Oh, here we go. Holy moly, goodbye, Lulu.
Oh my God, didn't even get the chance to use her own ultimate.
That was murderous intent right there. There was just no way out.
I didn't expect them to get blown up off of Impact. Literally just the moment Nocturne's character model touched Lulu, she blew up. So Revenge definitely didn't expect that either.
That was cartoonishly comical, especially just because Lulu's death noise is that, yeah, like, wah, wah, and then her hat flies off. That was like something straight out of Looney Tunes. I don't even... That was fantastic. Let's go back to bottom lane, see how things are shaking out down here, because the farm, dead even between these two. A couple more for Raze, but honestly, the exact same amount of minions. There's extra for Danny to still farm as long as he's able to pick those up here. He and Ignar also, remember, once they are level 6, very, very scary all-in potential.
Yeah, and remember, as we're getting paused here, Raze and Destiny are trying to get this wave pushed in. Their jungler is going topside, so he's trying to clear his topside camps. Diana is actually in a great position to work with Rel and of course, Danny to be able to get a kill there. So that is a possibility if we were to come back into the game.
Not currently sure what the nature of the pause is. We will let you all know as soon as we have more information, or hopefully it's one of my favorite kinds of pauses, the one that takes such a short amount of time, I never even know what it was for, and we're immediately right back into the game.
Stage issue.
I'm not quite sure what a stage issue means.
You know what I always think of when I think stage issue? Because I always just watch some ridiculous films.
Okay, what I don't know where this conversation...
Stage lights! Duck! Dodge!
The stage lights falling down and blowing somebody up. That is not a good look. We do not want that to happen. If the stage lights are not well connected, we gotta fix them.
Flowers, look out!
Oh, no! Oh, hey, we're not on the stage, though. We're in a caster desk. For those of you who've never been here to the LCS before, the caster desk is not attached to the stage. We are in a different spot. But as I'm explaining this, I realize that the camera shots you see every weekend expose you all to that. And
yeah, you see it every time.
Specifically no point for this PSA. But hey, it's a pause. We're just trying to have a good time.
In fact, one of the camera shots for, Azael and Pastry Time earlier on had them literally just saying hi to the cameras. Everybody today knows exactly where we are.
All right, we will let you know as soon as we got a little bit more information here. But just in general, summary, how are you feeling about the early game here so far?
Feeling good for both teams. I think more specifically to IMT, just because of all that charade that happened towards the top side. That was all before that gank came through from Contracts to pick Impact's lane, so he ended up evening out in CS. Also has a kill to his name, so I would just say from a holistic standpoint, IMT's in a pretty good spot.
All right, they do still have themselves the tiniest of gold leads. Let's see if anybody's going to go after these neutral objectives here soon. Looks like Immortals does have their eyes on this Rift Herald. Nobody around from Evil Geniuses. Contracts is the closest one to the area here, but he is just clearing out his red. Immortals has total control, and it doesn't look like they're going to be contested here. And
this goes back to what we were talking about with IMT's comp, that Xerxes wants to play towards topside and skirmish towards topside fairly exclusively. Insanity has been having permanent prio in the mid lane, and then also Revenge has just been, I mean, he's Lulu with ultimate. He didn't use it when he died last time, so that's always going to be a boost for you in the team fight.
Right.
So Contracts, I'm sure he was aware that Rift Herald was being taken, doesn't know the exact timer because there's no ward, but doesn't want to touch it.
Okay, so Xerxes clearing back down towards that bottom half of the map now, looking at our bottom laners on both sides. Supports have ultis, Raz, and that is one of the big things that I have been waiting for. Summoner spells also available down there. Neither AD carry currently has their heal.
And I think all of this is going to come through with IMT trying to set up for Dragon. I think what they want to do, play through mid. Ideally, I don't think place Rift Herald mid. You want to go alongside Destiny and try and place Rift Herald through bot lane, and then start up the Dragon. Forced. Ooh, nice bit of damage here, but
Jizuke using the ulti, Insanity still with his. Jizuke won the trade, of course, but now we'll have to see if Insanity's able to find a punish opportunity here. Lee Sin doing a good job of just sustaining back up. Revenge can disengage from Impact there pretty easily. Just haste yourself, walk out of the fear, and then turn around and open fire. Impact's actually getting fire opened up a lot on him right about now. He flashes away, trying to survive. But no! The spooky ghost cannot defeat the purple Yordle, and Revenge gets the solo kill.
He even tried to cut the stage lights off just so he's not seen. Still, the solo kill comes through from Revenge. All in the meantime, Rift Herald being placed through mid lane. It seems like the setup there for IMT was for Dragon, but Evil Geniuses are there first.
Evil Geniuses trying to respond to this one. Got control over that bottom side river right about now. No, they are on top of a ward that is about to time out that will show Immortals exactly what's going on here if they want to try to contest it. Immortals have the lead. they may feel it's time to go in and make something happen, and yes, they will. Fight's already starting out. The Dragon's going to be taken out by Evil Geniuses. His Contracts will be the first one to die. Raze is going to be number 2. 4v4 now in the follow-up. Destiny continuing to try to stay here, positioned to go in with the grand entrance, and there it is. Ignar's up in the air, and they don't care. Xerxes jumps in with the stolen body of the enemy support. He goes underneath the turret here for the double kill, but he doesn't want to steal away the body because he's going to be under too much pressure, but Danny gets exhausted and he won't be able to find the kill. Insanity takes him out, and Evil Geniuses are torn to pieces.
What a perfect exhaust timing there from Destiny. The moment Danny used his ultimate was shut up. He is not allowed.
So good.
And just taking a step back from Evil Geniuses, they knew what they didn't have. Like, it was the Nocturne that used his ultimate topside when he died. Sure, Nocturne was going to be a part of the fight, but without ultimate versus a Lulu, they didn't have to expend it. So IMT knew that they were going to be stronger in a fight. So even with Raze, just popped in the beginning of the fight, we're going to be able to take it. So this was all the way up in the top lane. Revenge knew that he had this kill on him. Let's see how much he was able to chase this. Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna say
Just
here?
run him down, pop. He tries to get away, and then boop. Easy, man. Didn't just casually ping. Oh yeah, he flashed too.
Yep, easy. And of course, it turned into what this was, a much better team fight around Dragon. Okay, jumping on top of Contracts. Contracts having a tough time so far this game.
But a nice kick coming out from Jizuke. Targeting Insanity here. Evil Genius is striking back well as Immortals bite off a little bit more than they can chew. Insanity is now stuck here in the red pit. He will be killed for free. Immortals bringing in the cavalry though. Here's Lulu. Everybody's flashing over the wall trying to get away. Danny's in the ulti now. Killing spree over there for Xerxes. Jizuke jumps in to grab a double kill, taking out the enemy support. But now everybody in Immortals is in a real bad place. Danny tries to stay alive, but Xerxes going in. And man, is he going in hard. Xerxes coming back for more. Raze takes another kill. And despite losing 3 of their own men, Immortals kill 4.
It is reset city for Xerxes. When things are getting tough, Evil Geniuses are trying to meet fire with fire, and it ain't working out. The resets are there for Xerxes. He's just ulting on top of them like Goombas, and he's 4-0-5 at this stage of the game.
Beautifully done by the Immortals. Jungler, 9 out of 10 kill participation. Jizuke's coming in here trying to make some sort of a play, but this is really not good. Okay, so Jizuke's not going to find a lot there. Destiny's there in time to make sure that Raze is in no real danger. And so Evil Geniuses don't get a lot to strike back with. 3,500 gold down at 14 minutes. Immortals have built a very nice lead.
And here's the reality. I think Evil Geniuses have definitely recognized that their composition that does not scale well, especially versus Xayah, Tristan, and Lulu, and a Viego. Like, if we're just talking about a scaling teamfight aspect, IMT just trumps them. So when they're falling behind, Evil Genius is saying, we need to just take these fights to get back in. In this case, it starts with Contracts getting jumped on and losing quite a bit of his HP and Flash, to say the least. So they see what is, hey, we're cornering IMT. We should be able to take this fight. And Insanity actually is put in a really bad position inside of the pit. So
yeah,
it looks great from Evil Geniuses when they're able to just pop him right from the start. But Lulu comes in for a collapse, and at that point, they know they need to scram.
Yep. 2 flashes over the wall instantly, but then Contracts can't get away. I like how Danny was right next to the wall here with the ulti, contributing whatever damage he could, but he just didn't go in any further. He couldn't safely go in any further because you see what Xerxes does here as soon as he's within range.
The regen that he's able to get off of these resets are what's kind of ridiculous because they're focus firing him, and then you just get back like 10% HP.
Okay. 140 for the Herald, guys.
Yeah.
And we're on to the next play.
We're on to the next play, my friends. All right, you heard him. 140 for the Herald here. Damage dealt in the last team fight. The name of the game is Danny versus Xerxes. That's kind of what it's looking like here. These fights, when Danny is not able to get the Samira just absolute highlight ultis that he's looking for. When an exhaust comes through or he's zoned out of the fight, they don't have the damage.
And that fight, particularly for all you YouTube viewers that wants to like basically rewind that and look at it, he ulted at a really good spot. Danny behind the terrain, so he was actually putting out DPS to 2 members while he himself was safe. He's a great Samira player. You know, it's just a tough time these days to play Samira, especially if the enemy team can just literally click the exhaust button on your head.
Yeah, that one feels bad there a little bit, but hey, props to Destiny for getting the timing right earlier in the bottom lane. Now we got our next Drake spawning in about 10 seconds. Evil Geniuses did collect the first one for themselves. They've already got bodies down here in this bottom half of the river. You would think that Immortals could challenge them incredibly easily if they wanted to, but Immortals just don't care. They would rather prioritize top lane instead. They're saying, if you want the Drake, we're getting top. And you can see pings coming out from Evil Geniuses onto the tier 2. They know tier 1's gone. The thing that they're concerned about is Immortals just hard shoving this top lane and getting multiple for the price of one.
Exactly. And I think that this is a good play. The problem is, as we see a little bit of a scrap here with Xerxes.
Xerxes just casually zoning away 3 enemy players.
Alone.
Yeah, no worries, right?
It's nice. But theoretically, this is like a really good play for Immortals. Being able to get 2 turret gold on top of Raze. Oh, and okay, let's see what's happening here.
Well, the lights are off, but Impact's the one who is about to be having a real bad dream. He barely survives. Xerxes underneath the turret needs a little bit more damage, but he finds it, takes over the enemy body, and they will not get a return kill with Danny taken out. Immortals pick up 2.
And Xerxes survives the dive, getting the kill on towards Nocturne as well. That was really close. But Revenge was able to stay alive off that dive. Jizuke, of course, seeing all that, didn't have an ability to join the fight, didn't have TP on that one, didn't think that was going to be possible, so he's just trying to get as much as he can on the bot side of the map. But yeah, lots happening here. IMT now needs to, for sure, contest for the next dragon and not give Evil Geniuses a win condition. With how much of an advantage IMT has right now, they have to cash in the gold that they have to the next objective. Expect Evil Geniuses to take their stand there.
Raz, I've got to ask you something
Hit me.
How do you feel about Divine Sunderer Lee Sin? Because that's the build from Jizuke this game, and up against a team that has no tank, I'm questioning it. I
love Gore Drinker quite a bit, and I think the probably concern is that he's going up against triple range and Lulu, Tristana, and Xayah, so there's probably a question mark on how successful it's going to be. But like, Gore Drinker is actually still pretty damn gold efficient, even if you're able to get a one-person like active use, right? Because the stats that it gives you is still really damn nice. So I would still go Gore Drinker, but I can understand it. Divine Sunderer still gives you a boatload of HP as well, so you can still feel a little tankier while you're in the fight.
Okay, back here in mid lane, Danny and Ignar are the ones tasked to defending the tier 1 turret. You can see that those tier 1s have been taken out in the side lanes here for both teams. Jizuke, as you mentioned, in the last fight, also taking out the tier 2 there in the bottom lane, keeping the turret count tied up. Now, Evil Geniuses, and Raz, this is, I'm glad that this happened this game because we were talking about it behind the scenes yet again. Evil Geniuses prioritizing the bottom half of the map, prioritizing some dragon control, and what is your reward? Cloud Soul! And yes, I know Cloud Soul is stronger than a lot of people like to give it credit for, but it still, in many cases, doesn't feel as game-ending and as impactful as something like an Ocean or an Infernal.
Yeah, I mean, if a team's going up against you, if they either, of course, in this case, have a lead or if they're behind, like, you're weighing your opportunity cost and saying, I'd rather get a turret on the opposite side of the map and then challenge you for the third dragon. And if we're behind, then it's not a game-ending fight that we need to really concern ourselves with, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to put us in a desperate time. So in this game, flank position here from Jizuke, if he ever wants to try for a top lane, he could also try and just kill Revenge here. He has a pretty scrappy build for it. Okay,
Jizuke is in the enemy. They had to have seen that.
They know he's there.
Away. Okay, yeah, they're aware that someone is around. Xerxes will be the one to face check because he's not afraid. He's the guy who's fed. Lulu's going to get jumped on. Revenge is in a lot of trouble. Evil Genius is looking to focus down the top laner, and they already got him. Evil Genius is getting exactly what they came for. 2 kills.
They didn't know how to approach it. They knew the Lee Sin was behind them, and they put themselves in a pretty tough position, specifically Revenge. Just really bad positioning if you're there. If you're trying to soup up, let's say, Xerxes or Destiny, who's ever going to be the one that's actually starting off the fight, great, but you can't be the one that's being targeted. You have to self-ult and still die.
This could be the play that changed the game, Raz, because that was the first kill on the enemy jungler, who had 11 out of 12 kill participation, massive shutdown coming out there, and now they're looking to take down the Baron, but Insanity's doing a great job, Raze the same, taking whatever they can, recognizing they will not be able to 3v5 at this Baron. Instead, they will take the mid lane tier 1. Insanity will stick around in this top lane, looking to take out the inhib. How do we feel about this trade? You got to shoot it one more time. There we go.
There we go. That would be tragic if he wasn't able to get it. But yeah, TPing for the top side, just for the Rift Herald, I think it's a smart idea. You want to slow the enemy team with their Baron push. If you're just saying, okay, if you play towards top side, you're going to be at a much slower pace. Or if you're playing towards like bot side, you're really only playing for 2 lanes, and at the same time, you're on a ticking time clock with the super minions going top lane. I think it's smart. It's going to slow them down with Baron But yeah, I mean, the way they got there is almost comical. The fact that they knew the Lee Sin was in a flank position and still got caught off guard in a bad fight. So hate to see it, but let's see what the next play is going to be.
Hate to see it, but that's the way it is. Now, Evil Geniuses, let's see if they can continue this momentum, find some more. They've got the Baron buff. They're down a little over 2,000 gold, but the bonus stats from Baron will almost make up for that just on their own. So this is going to be one of their best chances here. This next just over 2 minutes will be some of the most level playing ground they have. With the first 2 dragons already in pocket, and with Immortals having control over the bottom side river, it looks like Evil Geniuses are happy to not contest.
Yeah, this is a good call from Evil Geniuses. You can just raid the enemy topside jungle, so that's 3 camps now, as Xerxes is not going to be able to get. Topside turret as well. They can position themselves for this turret here. I don't think they're going to be able to get it. Let's see, though.
Okay, mid lane tier 1, taking a little bit of damage. Impact hovering between the 2 lanes. I love to see this from Nocturne players. You have the ulti to join either fight if it turns into something.
Yeah.
So very easy to position there while stealing away those camps like you were talking about. Tier 2 falls up there in top lane. In mid, Immortals will hold the line, but it's Evil Geniuses still hanging out in the jungle, still stealing away more resources.
And that's the benefit of being able to get the first 2 dragons. That, sure, theoretically getting the okay.
Oh, Contracts went big there, but he did not get anything. A fast enough reaction from Raze gets him away. Insanity with a flash out. Jizuke and Impact approaching on the flank, but not finding any success just yet besides that flash. Immortals do a good job holding on and staying alive. Raze didn't even need a summoner spell. Contracts used flash for that, and Raze just said, nope.
Yeah, we're going on 2 different plays here. Evil Geniuses tried to go for a flank on a member that was going into the top side, blue side jungle, so they used Nocturne ultimate for that one. I would just want them to commit to 1 play, especially for Xayah that has, multiple escape actions to escape. Not only the flash, the Xayah ultimate. Like, if you're trying to go for the pick, you definitely need more tools for that.
Yeah. Xayah with Gale Force, both summoners, Ultimate, and Lulu nearby makes it a pretty tall order to be able to kill her off there. Immortals now in the enemy jungle here once more. 20 seconds left on our Red Bull Baron buff means that pretty quickly Evil Geniuses will no longer have that power, and the gold and relevant stats will once again favor Immortals. Let's see if they can find any plays to make here in this enemy jungle. Insanity will continue here just on that side lane duty, pushing up these waves, making sure that they have the opportunity to go for objectives. Destiny going after enemy players instead, jumps in there with the quickness, but can't lock down anybody long enough for them to get the kill. Impact loses a bit of HP, but that's all.
Yeah, thought they got to pick on 2 more members here. They're constantly getting information that, of course, that Jizuke is on the opposite side of the map, so they can find a pick, then that would be really valuable. But nothing's happening here for the side of IMT, which means that it's a lot of solo experience and gold that Jizuke is able to get on the top side of the map. He's been side lane most of this game, while the rest of the team has been scrounging for a fight. So that's actually turned into a level advantage that he's had over Insanity. Just from that alone, from being on a team that's in a disadvantage.
So what do you want to see here from Evil Geniuses specifically, Raz? Because they had that big play that got them the Baron, brought the game back to a very close state. Now, for this team who, for the first, 15 minutes was very much behind, how do they continue building themselves opportunities here 25 minutes in?
First answer here for me is Rel Nocturne has always been that combination. Since spring, playoffs, TSM was actually using that as a primary strategy that they had. So I don't care if Xayah and Tristana have escapes. If you just use Rel Nocturne to just get the jump on towards the Tristana as an example with no flash, then that just turns into an immediate pick. The rest of your team can jump on top of that one. Primarily Danny's passive, Contracts can come in all the same. Those are the things that I'm looking for, but Insanity's playing smart, playing with the wave top lane instead.
Yeah, Insanity's doing a really good job of just using Tristana's pushing power, her turret taking power, and setting up shop here in the side lane. And notice the timing here in the bottom left as well. Inhibitor is respawning in about 25 seconds, and Immortals already have a double-stacked wave up here. They have control over this part of the map. They're ready to contest that yet again if Evil Geniuses are not in a good position to defend. In the other side of the map, Impact has pushed things up in bottom lane to the enemy inhibitor turret as well. But Insanity picks up turret number 6 of the game here for Immortals in mid.
This is going to be a pretty awkward game for IMT if they're not able to get more off of the inhibitor push on top lane. The moment they traded Baron for inhibitor, you would expect them to do something with the pressure that they have, right? But really all they've given, like I've said, is Jizuke the solo experience off of those waves. So he's actually, strongest member now, a 2-level advantage over Insanity. It's pretty absurd for a team that's been on the back foot for a large portion of this game. So immediately you'd think Dragon, but they're the ones that have only had the first Dragon because Evil Genius has been prioritizing that earlier. Baron would probably then be the next play. Let's see what IMT can do here. This is a lot of vision that EEG has set up.
Okay, oh, here we go! Contracts just immediately popping the enemy mid laner, and he does it at a crucial point in the game. Destiny jumps in, trying to go for the engage, loses most of his HP instantly. Impact's able to finish him off, and now with the enemy jungler stuck in the stasis, they won't be able to do a damn thing. Raze wants to survive, but Impact would prefer that he doesn't. A shield keeps him alive, and Ignar continues charging forward. Jizuke's underneath the enemy turret, and that's right where he wants to be. Ace for nothing. Evil Geniuses.
Full team sweep. It started with Insanity getting picked off of the bot lane by Contracts, and then the immediate fight afterwards, a fight that IMT chose. Evil Geniuses are now firmly in the driving seat.
Holy moly, man. EG. Awesome fight coming out of these guys. Instantly getting the kill on Insanity before the fight could even start. Contract started that off perfectly.
This is insane. You know, all that fog of war that IMT had to walk through. My eyes were focused straight on the mid lane. You had 3 members of Evil Geniuses hunting for a fight on that one, but it was Insanity that was on the side lane, just pushing these waves alone before walking to the enemy jungle. He wanted to rejoin his team. Had no idea that Contracts was already there, and so immediately IMT was the one that was forcing the fight, didn't get to see the TP come through from Jizuke, and at the, like, how is Raze supposed to fight this, right? Gets knocked out by the Lee Sin kick that ends up knocking him on the head. Nocturne ends up soloing him, so that one was just a poorly thought of fight immediately after losing your primary mid laner in Insanity.
And then Impact just barely getting away. Somehow staying alive there right at the very end thanks to the shielding. Damage dealt in the last fight. Insanity never even got a single auto attack off on Contracts. He was just trying to get away, could not do it. Raze, the only man to even hit over 1,000 damage in that fight, while Evil Geniuses was just pouring it on.
Like, we talked about this a little earlier before we ended up getting on cast. It's just like how absurd it is for, you know, AP junglers, especially Diana, can have so much access to just flat, like just the, you know, magic penetration.
Yeah.
Not only do you get it in your mythic passive with Rocket Belt, you get it in a Void Staff recipe.
And especially when your laners are all AD.
Yep.
There's no reason to be prioritizing magic resistance against this composition, man. It's Nocturne, Lee Sin, and Samira. So then Diana, just, it's Christmas in July.
Feels like a little bit of true damage raining.
Holy cow. Okay, Evil Geniuses with a Baron for the next minute and 15 seconds. They're in a great spot to do serious damage to Immortals here.
And they're just playing 3 waves here with a Nocturne that has ultimate, has Lulu bot side, and now he can just like roam up into the jungle, try for a dive in towards the mid lane. He does need to set up with the Rel so he can at least get that tether there so they can set up for a play. But yeah, this is difficult. I don't even think Evil Geniuses need to play towards this bot lane wave here, because the more members that respond to the Nocturne, the better.
Okay, let's see how Evil Geniuses wants to play this out, prioritizing mid right now with 3 players. Solo laners, each in one of those side lanes, continuing to apply that 1-3-1 pressure. They won't crack mid just yet. Immortals mounting a good defense so far.
But in the end of the day, Evil Geniuses have Soul Point, so the next dragon that comes up will be able to nab them Soul. You know, they have Baron right now, but they have all the control on the map. IMT needs to find that fight.
Well, here we go. Evil Geniuses are the ones looking, and they have found it. Impact's on a killing spree. Enemy top laner, enemy AD carry both dead. Destiny's trying to walk away. The Ignite is still burning, but it's not quite enough to kill him off, but that don't matter. EG already got what they needed. They killed off 2 high-value targets on the enemy squad. Now they're just going to dogpile the 3rd one. Xerxes loses his Guardian Angel here. Going to have to come back to life with that. EG continues their push. They won't have the support now as Ignar is taken out, but Immortals have to try to continue this defense somehow. Contracts losing a lot of HP here. Jizuke jumping in yet again. Xerxes trying to get away. He goes unstoppable, still feared, but getting out. Danny, the highest HP member here on the side of Evil Geniuses as they all walk away.
Insanity solo helped them keep that game under locks, because not only was he able to get that assassination on Ignar with Gale Force active in tow, but then also put in a lot of damage towards Jizuke. It felt like that was going to be an endgame scenario for Evil Geniuses if Insanity didn't get that much damage off on the enemy team. So really good job here, but this is where it all started. Not only the Nocturne dive, but the moment you use your ulti, it's Nocturne that shuts off the lights, Rail that comes right on top of you. Like, yeah, you just lost 2 members off of that one because the rest of the IMT were just spread thin, dealing with both mid and top lane waves.
And then, hey, at least Viego's Guardian Angel brings him back to life there, right? But then after the fact, they just continue jumping in. They want to find a little bit more. Evil Geniuses with that 4v3 on the map. You can tell they're hungry for it, man.
Yeah.
And they get a Nexus turret for their troubles, but then the rest of the kills are just a little bit too difficult, and that means they got to fall back.
Yeah, and this is a lot of props to Insanity. Because not only did he get the kill on towards Ignar, it was actually just 1 auto away from killing Contracts. Contracts did not feel comfortable staying in the enemy base, so now there's a little bit of a chance for IMT in this game. But this is just so much control for EG. They can just do exactly what they did. This time, putting Nocturne in the top lane, still has ultimate, so he can look for a play whenever he feels like it.
Yep, they got that free pressure in bottom lane from the super minions. So they've got the 4-man group in mid. You got the 1-man split push up there in top. And everybody on Immortals is going to have to buckle down and get ready to defend again because EG is keeping the pressure on. Look at all the control they have over the jungle. Sweeping out the wards. You can see a little bit of a path of vision here thanks to a couple zombie wards, but that's it. Impact should be able to bop one of those here rather quickly. But there's not a whole lot of information for Immortals on Summoner's Rift right now.
Yeah, and we're thinking so much about, like, the information that's immediately present to them about, like, oh, okay, you know, their own blue side jungle, their own red side jungle. But now the 2 butts are coming up. Soul's coming up for Evil Geniuses. They're now moving towards it. Nice ward being placed there, but IMT is going to have to walk through these awful lands. Okay.
Oh, trying to catch out Jizuke, getting the flash out of the Lee Sin. Very important there. Disables a lot of the huge playmaking that he could bring in a team fight.
All right, even if this dragon is taken by IMT, I mean, it's just their 2nd dragon.
Yeah.
They would be trading that for a mid lane inhibitor.
This is what you buy for yourself by having Soul Point. This is what you get, is you're allowed to give them 1 single air drake and take an inhibitor and take 2 tier 3 turrets as a trade for it. That is a terrible trade deal.
Yeah.
I say no to that trade offer every time, but in this situation, you have to take that because it's all Immortals can get.
Yeah, it reminds me of, you know, Mark Z's little segment earlier today about just trading, knowing what you can take if you're behind. In this situation, IMT, I mean, this is not a good trade deal, as you said. Just give them Soul. It's Cloud Soul. Try and at least farm up the mid waves, the bot lane waves that's coming to you consistently. They're super minion packed, right? At this point, you can't really do anything. So trying to do too much really doesn't make sense, but here they are.
Okay, they're ready to fight for Baron. They want to try to stop them. Insanity is back in the base, but the thing that you have to remember playing against Nocturne is that you cannot rely on a teleport to join mid-fight if he's already used the Paranoia. You're not going to get in with the TP. So they've got to be respectful of that. They've got to be aware of that. Bottom lane wave, the super minions are marching towards that base. Immortals are in a difficult spot.
That's why Evil Geniuses don't have to do anything. Clear out these wards, chill out here for a little bit longer. Waves of super minions are going to be crashing. I think that's a 2 super minion stack that's going to be coming towards bot lane unless Tristana deals with it right now. So there she goes. And now it's a great timing to go for Baron. Evil Genius should just rush it now, knowing that Tristana is going to have to deal with these waves.
And that's exactly the call. Here we go. Looks like Baron's going to drop rapidly enough that they won't have to worry too much about it. There's your Paranoia. With Paranoia cast, there's no way for Triss to TP in there in time. Impact's already jumping in. Xerxes has to ulti over the wall defensively, and Evil Geniuses do that beautifully.
And here we go. Another fight could start. Remember, that was just 1 ultimate coming in from Impact.
Oh, Contracts flashing away as Immortals try to find the counterattack here. Contracts with the stasis. Tries to stay alive. Should die here. Yes, shut down by Raze. Insanity now trying to get away from Impact as another fight breaks out here between everybody else. Impact grabbing the kill on the enemy mid laner. Xerxes having to try to get away, but here comes Jizuke with a resonating strike. Over the wall is Destiny with a grand entrance looking to lock down the Evil Geniuses, but it will not work. Danny's grabbing the kill onto Raze. Danny is popping off. Danny's got a quadra kill, and that is it.
That is just a strong period at the end of that game, right?
That's a way to end it.
Exactly, it was looking close. Raze was getting 2 members at once, but then Danny was waiting patiently to be able to get this win here for Evil Geniuses, and that makes their 6th win in a row.
And it was off of a comeback here in this game. Immortals was looking good pretty early, but a couple of back-to-back good fights there for Evil Geniuses brought them back into the game. They played smart after that, and they earned their win here today.
For me, it started at that red side jungle fight, where IMT was looking really good at this stage of the game. They knew that the Lee Sin was in their own jungle, but they ended up still getting picked off. That one moment, Lulu loses ultimate, loses her life. That's suddenly a Baron for you. Pretty rough.
Yeah, honestly, credit to Evil Geniuses. Making the plays that they needed to make, setting themselves up properly to be able to fight their opponents and win those fights when they were down in gold to the degree that they were, and then not just throwing the ball back. We've seen some of those games here, Raz, where it just turns into a game of catch in the backyard and everybody's throwing it back and forth because nobody can hold on to the damn thing.
I feel like that's been today a little bit.
Well, Evil Geniuses were able to hold on pretty well after coming back against Immortals, and Immortals, as soon as they started slipping, they just couldn't get their grip anymore.
Exactly. I think that goes back to just great fundamentals that Evil Geniuses have shown in the past few weeks, right? Past few weeks, when Evil Genius has great vision control, they sit in it, they play disciplined around it. Even if there's a little bit of like playmaking or risk taking there from Jizuke or even Danny in certain instances, like they just say, okay, play didn't work out, go back to base, come back to the same vision that we have and play well around it. So just take a look at this here.
This is our final fight. This was Danny's pro view where he got the quadra kill.
All right, playing it patiently. They know that there's 4 members, 3 members in the back, seeing if they can help out Diego a little bit. Oh, he's been stacking up that passive, so he's going to be able to get it right here.
There it is. There it is.
I love just seeing, and he's clapping. Yep. Round of applause. I love seeing that 999 just execute damage that they're collecting.
Yeah. The Samira machine gun, man. We're tossing to a break now, though, and after the break, we will hear from the player of the game, Evil Geniuses contracts, in the Verizon post-game interview. Don't y'all go anywhere.
Change arrangement.
Welcome back to the LCS. Following their victory against Immortals, I am here with Evil Genius's very own Contracts. First things first, looking at that game, Immortals had some control over the early game, but it flipped the script later on. Why do you think that was?
Yeah, they played early game pretty well. Especially around the dragon. I kind of had a really bad dragon call that forced my team into a bad position, and then we got wiped. So then we were on the back foot for a bit, but we stayed calm. We realized we had a really good team fight comp, so we all kind of just go in together. So yeah, I mean, we just were patient around our fights. We took good angles, and we had nice flanks.
It felt like once we saw you pop that Tristana down bot, that's where things really started to go in EG's favor.
Yeah.
This is the second time we've gotten to speak to you here on the LCS stage. And last time when we were talking to Sven Skjern, he was talking about how it's this 6-man roster practicing with both of you. Can you tell me a bit more about that experience?
Yeah, so he gets the majority of the scrims, but I get a full day on Tuesday. So I'm able to, play with the LCS team every week and kind of, just improve and learn from the LCS team. And also participating in LCS scrims is a major upside as well. Just because I've been in academy for a while, so I haven't really played LCS scrims in a while. So just being able to play against LCS caliber players again is definitely a good challenge.
Well, and even your coach, Peter Dunn, was saying in his Travis Gafford interview that you don't look like somebody that belongs in academy. And that, in fact, a lot of this prep doesn't come down to the best of one, but instead preparing for the best of fives later on. How does that playoff mindset inform the way you approach these regular season games, since you, of course, do still want to get the Ws?
I'm not really thinking about playoffs too much right now. I'm kind of just going game by game, and whenever I'm called for, I'll come out and do my best to perform. But, yeah, overall just taking game by game. It's a fun time.
And when it comes to taking a game by game, in this particular game, you were player of the game. Another strong performance here on the Diana.
Wow.
So what does that mean for you to be able to exemplify yourself here on the stage, being that they are a bit far between when we get to see you here?
I'm actually surprised I got player of the game. I honestly don't think I performed very well this game. I had a good game-winning play. I think I opened up the game for my team around that bot skirmish. But honestly, I'd give more props to Danny and Ignar. I feel like they really picked up the slack and found really good engage angles, and it was really easy for me to play just because they were really stable.
Yeah, I always love hearing all of you just give props to the other players. Nah, I don't deserve it. They deserve it. But also with this squad going forward, with whoever comes onto the EG stage into the next matchup, it is going to be against 100 Thieves. It's Upset City today, so they are coming off of a loss. But what do you think about them as a caliber when it comes to them as a team?
Sorry, you said 100 Thieves, right?
Yep.
I think they play very consistent. They punish mistakes very well, and they also don't make too many mistakes. Obviously, today was a rough game, but I feel like they were kind of going away from their usual style and kind of testing different things. So, I mean, I think they're a strong team, and I'm sure they'll do well in playoffs and probably, honestly, have a good shot at going to Worlds. So.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing the action tomorrow, but Contracts, thank you so much for joining me on the stage today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We are going to kick it to a break, but on the other side, the State Farm Analyst Desk is going to get you all ready for Dignitas facing off against Team Liquid. We'll see you there.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
didn't order a pizza.
I know. But that Parker promo saved me so much on my insurance. I brought you a little something special.
Parker, State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
You're the man, man.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.